Los Banos, Merced County. 6 women who received ultrasound examinations at a hospital operated by Sutter Health are suing the California healthcare giant, alleging they were sexually assaulted by an ultrasound technician who remained employed despite multiple complaints and 2 police investigations into his behavior. The women say the technician, Henry Nueki, assaulted them during procedures from 2020 to 2022 at the Sutter-owned Memorial Hospital Los Banos, where he was the sole ultrasound technician on duty overnight, according to lawsuits filed at the Superior Court in Sacramento County, where Sutter is based. The lawsuits allege Sutter ignored or mishandled complaints about the technician. In interviews, 4 of the 6 women suing Nueki and Sutter told the San Francisco Chronicle their experiences with the ultrasound technician had left them feeling violated, emotionally distressed, and afraid to seek medical care. Some described driving long distances to other hospitals to avoid returning to the site of their alleged assaults, which is among the only medical facilities in this Central Valley city of 47,000. One woman alleges that the technician touched her breasts during an ultrasound, telling her that he could not obtain an ultrasound image of her liver without doing so. Others allege he touched them inappropriately and simulated sex using the ultrasound probe. They are seeking financial damages from Sutter on the grounds that it knew or should have known that Nueki was harassing and assaulting female patients. Attorneys for Sutter argued in court documents that Nueki followed proper protocols for the ultrasound procedures and noted that the hospital is conducting its own internal investigation, its third regarding allegations against Nueki, into the claims. Liz Madison, a Sutter Health spokesperson, told the San Francisco Chronicle late last year in 2023 that Nueki is not currently providing patient care duties, but declined to provide details. Madison claims he no longer works at Memorial Hospital Los Banos or at any Sutter facilities. 2 women immediately called police after ultrasound procedures conducted by Nueki, and officers were dispatched to investigate, records show. Police investigated both allegations. In one case, an officer found that the allegations against Nueki were unsubstantiated. In the other, officers were unable to substantiate whether a criminal act occurred and forwarded the case to the Merced County District Attorney's Office. To date, no charges have been filed. According to court documents, the hospital placed Nueki on paid leave at the end of 2020 while it investigated his conduct after 2 patients and a staff member accused him of misconduct. It placed him on leave again after a patient reported to hospital administrators and police that Nueki touched her inappropriately during an ultrasound in June 2021. Both times, the hospital returned him to work after internal investigations, records show. The first civil case is scheduled to go to trial in September 2024, said Amanda Witten, an attorney representing the women. The others do not yet have trial dates, she said. The women, all Latina residents of Merced County, told the Chronicle that they chose the hospital because it was the only one offering ultrasound services in the rural county, and that they would have had to drive at least 45 minutes from their homes to reach the next closest facility. The women have never met, though they know they are part of a group of accusers, Witten said. The first woman to pursue legal action contacted Witten in 2021. As the attorney prepared to go to trial, she said the hospital disclosed in legal proceedings that other women had made complaints against Nueki. Those women were notified of the pending litigation and, under state law, given the chance to opt into the lawsuit. Earlier this year, Witten received a call from a second woman seeking to join the suit. In an effort to reach other possible victims or eyewitnesses, Witten posted a message about the allegations against Nueki in April, along with her phone number, on the Facebook page of a Los Banos neighborhood watch group. Within weeks, Witten said, she received calls from 4 additional women who later filed lawsuits against Nueki and Sutter. She also heard from a former hospital employee who reported having complained about Nueki's conduct to hospital administrators in late 2020 after chaperoning an ultrasound exam he conducted. The former employee is not suing but has provided a sworn statement in one of the lawsuits filed by the women. The former employee said in court documents that Nueki asked her to wipe blood off a pregnant patient who was undergoing an ultrasound exam during a miscarriage. She declared that she was disturbed because Nueki seemed to be enjoying watching me wiping the patient. She also said she witnessed Nweke repeatedly lift up the patient's gown to expose her below the waist, even as she tried to keep the patient covered. "I was sick to my stomach from it," the former employee wrote to hospital administrators in a December 2020 email that was included in her court statement. One accuser, Celi Gonzalez, said she wanted to be identified by name to reduce the stigma of coming forward. Gonzalez went to the hospital's emergency room with pelvic pain in May 2020. Doctors referred her for an ultrasound exam, during which a female chaperone was present, according to her lawsuit. Gonzalez, 39, alleged in the suit that the chaperone was looking at a cell phone throughout the procedure. Unlike with other vaginal ultrasounds Gonzalez had undergone, she alleges that Nweke spent a considerable amount of time rubbing the wand on her genitalia and inserted the wand with a push and pull rhythm that was sexual in nature, according to the complaint. She left feeling uncomfortable and confused, but said in an interview that she did not report the incident because she believed nothing would come of it. "It made me feel sick," Gonzalez said. "I tried to suppress it." 1 month after Gonzalez's ultrasound in June 2020, a patient made what court records indicate was the first complaint logged against Nweke. The unidentified patient, who was pregnant and suffering a miscarriage, is not one of the participants in the lawsuits. She complained to a nurse and called police after her ultrasound to report that Nweke had sexually assaulted her. A copy of the Los Banos police report states that the patient ran into the hospital parking lot while still hooked up to intravenous fluids. She told the responding officer that Nweke had assaulted her using the ultrasound probe. According to the report, Nweke told the officer and nurses interviewed by the officer that the patient had told him she was getting horny during the ultrasound procedure. After interviewing Nweke and other hospital staff, records show the officer collected multiple similar statements contradicting the patient's allegations. Nweke told the officer that the patient's pubic area was never exposed. The case was closed without being referred to the Merced County District Attorney's Office. The officer said in his report that he determined the allegations were unsubstantiated. In November 2020, Emma went to the hospital with abdominal pain and was sent to Nweke for an ultrasound to look for ovarian cysts. According to the complaint, Nweke quickly dismissed a chaperone who was present and began rubbing her with the ultrasound wand in a sexual manner that was painful and incredibly uncomfortable. Nweke, the lawsuit alleges, seemed excited and was smiling while doing this, in a way that was inappropriate for a healthcare professional. Emma, who is 43, did not complain to hospital administrators. She contacted Witten after seeing the attorney's Facebook post about Nweke. That same month, in November 2020, another woman says she was assaulted during an ultrasound to check for blood clots after she developed breast pain, according to deposition testimony. Samantha, 55, alleges in her lawsuit that she was surprised when Nweke asked her to take off her underwear. She complied and alleges that Nweke spent the majority of the examination rubbing the ultrasound wand over her pelvic bone and external genitalia in a sexual manner. That no female chaperone was present made her feel violated and anxious, the complaint alleges. A month after Samantha's visit, in December 2020, Ronnie, 36, went to the hospital with abdominal pain soon after becoming pregnant. Doctors referred her to Nweke for an ultrasound, according to the lawsuit. A female chaperone was initially present, but left the room after Nweke told her he was done, the complaint claims. Ronnie alleges in the lawsuit that Nweke then told her that he saw something in the ultrasound images that he needed to investigate. Using an ultrasound wand, Ronnie said, he began repeatedly rubbing her genital area until she told him to stop, according to the complaint. Ronnie returned to file a complaint at the hospital the next day. Court documents show she reported the incident to the nurse in charge and to Nweke's supervisor. The supervisor, a doctor, told Ronnie that the hospital would look into it, but they would not be reaching out to her to inform her of the outcome, the lawsuit alleges. Sutter and Nweke denied the allegations in court documents. 2 months later, Ronnie suffered a miscarriage. According to the lawsuit, she went to the hospital as the miscarriage progressed and told staff she did not want Nweke to perform an ultrasound on her. When Nweke appeared, the lawsuit alleges, she screamed until he left the waiting room. According to her complaint, no one at the hospital took any action, and Ronnie was discharged without an ultrasound. Records show the hospital opened an internal investigation into Nweke's conduct the same month. The patient, Faith, 44, went to the hospital in June 2021 with swelling in her legs and feet. A doctor ordered an ultrasound to check for blood clots. During the procedure, she alleges Nweke touched her vagina with his fingers and the ultrasound wand and made sexual noises, according to the complaint. Nweke and Sutter deny these allegations in court documents. Immediately after the ultrasound, Faith reported the alleged assault to hospital administrators and called police, who dispatched an officer to the hospital in the middle of the night. The officer noted that Faith was visibly upset and had spoken with a doctor, who asked if she understood the procedure and provided a paper document to her explaining it, according to a copy of the police report reviewed by the San Francisco Chronicle. The officer also noted that no chaperone had been present during her examination due to staffing problems, later writing that there is typically not a female chaperone with this examination because it's not a traditional pelvic examination. An emergency room nurse told the investigator that Nweke was above reproach and so professional, according to the report. The report also states that a doctor at the hospital and Nweke each separately told an officer that the type of ultrasound ordered required going into the groin area. The officer reported that the investigation was inconclusive and referred the case to the Merced County District Attorney's Office for review, records show. Los Banos Police Chief Gary Brizzi, who no longer serves as chief, did not respond to questions about the investigation. Merced County District Attorney Nicole Silveira said her office was aware of the lawsuits brought by the women. In August 2022, Jessica, 45, went to the hospital's emergency room, where a doctor ordered an ultrasound of her liver. There was no female chaperone present, and she was alone in the room with Nweke throughout the procedure, according to the complaint. During the examination, Jessica alleges that Nweke called her sweetie, which made her uncomfortable. According to the complaint, Nweke also repeatedly tried to lift her robe to fondle her breasts. He claimed that he would not be able to get an image of her liver unless he was allowed to touch her breasts, the complaint alleges. She continued to resist, and he eventually stopped. Attorneys for Sutter and Nweke continued to deny all allegations and fight them in court.